With 3 games left in the regular season and the playoffs approaching, the Denver Nuggets made shocking organizational adjustments as Serbian star Nikola Jokic, a once-in-a-lifetime player who has become one of the game's all-time greatest players, delivered another historic season. The Nuggets lost 2 important players that helped the team win its only NBA championship in 2023 when they fired head coach Michael Malone on Tuesday and fired general manager Calvin Booth, whose contract will not be renewed. Given that Denver is not just in the playoffs but also a strong contender in the Western Conference, this is a confusing move. For the second time in 3 seasons, Malone has the opportunity to lead the Nuggets to the promised land. However, the situation in the Mile High City was getting out of hand, which led to the actions that rocked the association. In a social media video, Nuggets president and Governor Josh Kroenke stated that while the decision wasn't made hastily, the team's fortunes weren't improving. What I would say is that, having observed that group over a period of time, there were certain trends that were very worrisome to me at different points in time, Kroenke stated. He stated that the problems were concealed by victories, and Kroenke thought the season would end disappointingly because Denver had recently fallen into a rut. The ownership thought a deep playoff run was achievable if it chose to take a different route and didn't want to leave the playoffs early. Even if the timing wasn't perfect, there were rumors that changes would be made during the summer, but it was necessary to move quickly. All that taken into consideration, wanted to try to figure out a way to potentially squeeze as much juice out of the rest of the season as possible, Kroenke stated. I became comfortable with the thinking of let's try to shake this tree and squeeze as much out of this as we can. Denver's roster building caused conflict between Booth and Malone. Booth looked for younger talent, mostly through the NBA draft, whereas Malone wanted to succeed with seasoned players. Denver was successful on the court in spite of their disagreements and efforts to put them aside. Christian Braun, a contender for Most Improved Player this season, is one of the late first-round selections that Booth has made. Booth is a skilled talent evaluator. There was a great deal of disagreement between the two. The conflict between younger players and playing veterans, between Russell Westbrook and Jalen Pickett, for example, was never settled, and Malone's approach had become stale in the locker room. People with knowledge of the matter informed USA Today Sports that Jokic was aware of the decision prior to its announcement and that no protest was raised. Since they were not permitted to discuss the team's internal operations in public, they asked to remain anonymous. The solution was to start over with a new coach and general manager. Neither prevailed in a last-man-standing contest. With a 37-19 record on February 20th, Denver was ranked second in the Western Conference. However, since then, the offensive and defensive efficiency numbers have declined, and the record has been 10-14. Denver is currently on a 4-game losing streak and is 3-7 in their last 10 games. Denver is now in danger of making it to the play-in tournament after dropping to 4th place in the Western Conference, where there are just 2 games separating the number 3 and number 8 seeds. Since the All-Star break, the Nuggets have struggled both offensively and defensively, scoring 119.5 points and giving up 113.7 points per 100 possessions prior to the break and 116.8 and 118.3 points per 100 possessions following the break. They fell to Indiana on Sunday, where Jokic finished with 41 points, 15 rebounds, and 13 assists, and to Minnesota in double OT on April 1st, where he scored a 60-point triple-double, 61 points, 10 rebounds, and 10 assists. The Nuggets' predicament serves as an example of how challenging it is to make the most of a championship window in the modern NBA. Denver appeared to be a team built for multiple titles when they defeated Miami for the title in 2023 with Jokic and Jamal Murray. However, Denver fell in the conference semifinals and doesn't appear to be a club that is prepared to make it back to the finals this season, at least not as of right now. Ownership isn't prepared to abandon that objective. For the rest of the season, Malone's top assistant, David Adelman, will serve as the interim coach. Rick Adelman, a former NBA coach, is his father. Due to his involvement in building Denver's offense around Jokic, Adelman, who has been in Denver since 2017, has recently attracted head coaching interviews. In terms of paint points per game, 58.4, the Nuggets are the league leaders. I have complete trust and belief in our assistant coaches and their ability to step up into different roles, Kroenke stated.